Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. Welcome to the second episode of our new speaker series. This time around we're chatting with Warner Nickerson. Warner's an awesome guy. He has a really successful YouTube channel. He was a successful ski racer through NCAAs, through NORAMs. He had World Cup starts, he had World Championship starts. Now he's pretty involved with K2. Skis for Helly Hansen, and just all around pretty exciting and fun guy to talk to. He's always got a lot going. He's got a lot of energy. I had a lot of fun chatting with him. Hope you guys enjoy the interview. For some reason, the video quality on my end didn't turn out very good. This was Warner's in Sweden, so we were video chatting from Vermont to Sweden. Luckily, his video quality was really good. So I appreciate you dealing with the less than ideal video quality on our end, but it doesn't affect the how fun the interview is, in my opinion. I hope you enjoy it and keep an eye out for the next episode. Thanks.
Hey Warner, how are you?
I'm great. Jeff, how are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you're a busy guy from watching all your videos, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Always time for you.
Good. So Warner, let everyone know, where are you living these days?
Yeah, so I live in Stockholm, Sweden. Met a Swedish girl, and she's amazing. Lynn moved here. We're engaged, and it's been nice to be in Sweden, especially during all this COVID stuff. It's
Sure.
Mostly normal here, so that's really nice. Like no masks and stuff
nice.
like that.
Yeah, that's great. It'd be nice to be in a slightly more normal spot right now, although things are starting to feel more normal around here too, I'd say.
Good.
We're going to circle back to your life in Sweden at the end of this, but I thought we'd start by just kind of talking about your early skiing and kind of your ski career. Where did
and if I lose you, I'll get you right back. My battery's not super high, but I just thought it was so nice to be outside.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll we'll roll with the punches as we go. So Warner, where'd you grow up?
Guilford, New Hampshire, Gunstock ski area. That's where I grew up. Little
Nice.
Mountain, epic.
How old were you when you started skiing?
3-ish.
Yep. Do you have like early memories from those young skiing days?
Totally, being really cold. But just enjoying being outside and enjoying the snow.
Did you have was it kind of a family skiing atmosphere?
Yeah, definitely. And like my parents, it was kind of like their escape too. So, they'd drop us off to go train or go do whatever. And then they got to ski, and it was like a nice balance.
Sure. How old were you when you started ski racing?
I don't know. I mean, the first races there, they've got the midget race, the Tony Buttinger midget race. And that was maybe 5 or 6. So you're pretty early.
Yeah, that's pretty early to start doing it. I don't think there's not much racing younger than that, I wouldn't think.
I don't think so either.
I assume our audience knows that you're a pretty successful skier. When did you start finding success? I'm always fascinated with like those early years in a skier's career. Like I did an interview with Mike Hattrip recently, and I asked him the same question. Like, when did you have a realization, and when was that like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this?
Yeah, when I was like the end of my junior year in high school was when I was like, I really like this and want to do more. And then I took a year off after I graduated. So that was like the moment that was like, all right, I really like this and want to do more and want to keep going.
Yeah. Now, were you, had you linked up with the U.S. ski team by then, by that?
No, not at all. No, I was a late bloomer, as they call it.
a rogue solo athlete?
Yeah, turned into that.
Is that about when you started on the NORAM circuit?
No. I just wanted to do more and get better. I had like, I don't know, 70 or 80 points, maybe 100 points. I was bad growing up. I was not good until I took a year off, and then I made some huge gains and wanted to go to college, and then made a bunch of gains in college, and then wanted to keep skiing. So,
Where did you
but
ski
it was,
in that year off, that gap year?
yeah, I skied out in Colorado. It was called Team Go. We were kind of part of Team Summit. So
Sure.
Summit County, Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the East Coast for college, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Colby in Maine. Ooh, sorry about that. Did a little face plant there. No biggie.
Right. That's the hazards of the yacht club. As someone who grew up in Maine, I was trained from my family not to like people that went to Colby, but I think we'll just gloss over that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, right. So I want to talk a little bit about, coming from the East Coast and being based on the East Coast for training. Do you personally think there's a benefit to that as a ski racer?
I mean, look, like, I think that the biggest thing is your own self-determination to keep pushing. And sure, like, no question, in the East, you kind of breed a lot of that by having it be challenging as far as like cold weather, brutal conditions. So I would say yes, but there's a ton of good places to grow up and be a great ski racer, or go on a different path and do something other type of skiing, or something totally different.
Yep. Yeah, I always, I come from more of a freestyle background, at least for the competitive side of my skiing. And I always kind of look favorably at ski racers based on the East Coast, because I was always a park guy based on the East Coast. And for me, I was like, this is terrible. But for ski racers, it looks to me like, you get a lot of experience with, like you said, cold temperatures and variable snow conditions.
And quite hard snow. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep.
Like now I'd say Vail is winning the race there because, they inject the surface and have great surface from, October on. So, but the surface really matters. But once again, it's that self-determination. It's that you want to keep going.
Yeah.
I think I can't stress that enough.
So it was during your time at Colby that you started finding some success on the NORAM circuit?
Yes, that is accurate. Very accurate.
Where did you get your first win?
NORAM win. I think I won Sunday River. I think I won a GS in Sunday River. But that was after college, actually.
Okay. Yep. Now
is that what the internet says?
I can't recall. I researched it briefly, and I know it mentioned Sunday River, and I was kind of interested in, and I figured I'd ask you this question. Was it fun kind of getting some East Coast New England wins coming from a New England area? I would imagine that you had family there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always more fun and easier to race at home, or relatively close to home. So, yeah,
less
definitely.
travel.
Well, the hills better, the culture, it's all those little things that are nice.
Now, were you racing NCAA as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was a full-on NCAA skier. I did NORAMs and stuff, but I wasn't like the hybrids that we have now, the like Life Christian Haugens and Trevor Phillips that are racing college and the World Cup. So I was strictly college skier and just kind of kept hammering along.
So what was that? This is actually something that we've been talking about. We do like a weekly news video, and a lot of news, especially this summer, has been revolving around ski racing and kind of some of the dynamics between college and FIS, so to speak. So what was it like? I know it's different now a little bit, but what was it like for you transitioning from that college racing into NORAMs, getting involved with the US ski team, and ultimately having World Cup starts?
I mean, that's a super broad question.
I know.
I'd say in the context then, there was really no support from the national team, but no like clear support. But they were open to a couple camps here and there, so I got to train with them a little bit occasionally.
Okay.
And that was nice. And then once I won a World Cup start in Beaver Creek, then the doors like opened up a lot more.
Okay. Made it. Let's just pick up where we left off. You made it from college through NORAMs. What's it like standing in the start gate of a World Cup ski race?
Well, it's pretty amazing. It totally depends where you are. So it's amazing when you're ready, and it's awful when you're not. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How many World Cup starts did you have?
Like 20 something.
Did you have, was there like a particular venue that sticks out as your favorite spot?
Yeah, I really like Beaver Creek, but I loved Alta Badia. It was just such a challenging hill.
Yeah.
I always kind of sucked there, but it was a rad hill and super fun to ski. Just like so demanding, so challenging from top to bottom. A ton of big trail turns, really steep. Didn't let up. It was a great hill. One of my favorites for sure.
Cool. Now, and you also had some world championship starts, right?
Yeah, I raced world champs in 2011 in Garmisch GS. That was definitely the highlight of my ski racing career.
Cool.
That's for sure.
That kind of sticks out as a defining moment.
Definitely.
Now, so I'll admit that I first learned about you because I suppose I still am, but I used to be a avid consumer of Yoon Olsen's video blog. So I'm curious when and how you made that friendship with Yoon.
Yeah. So and the vlogs, or I guess at that point they're video blogs. There weren't vlogs yet, but
Right.
those were awesome. I mean, he was crushing it with those things in the ski world. It was so impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool that you watched some of those. So I met Yoon first in New Zealand, maybe 2009-ish. Something like that. 2008, 2009, right when he made that switch, when he was like full on into ski racing. He made that bet with Yoon Olsen and then dove in.
Yeah.
Or with Jens Bigmark.
Yeah. Now it looked like you guys had a lot of fun. Like it looked like I think it was probably meant to be portrayed this way, but I'm sure there's a lot of truth to it, that you had a little bit of a like counterculture attitude and mythology.
Yeah, so we had a ton of fun. The reason we really came together was because I wasn't on the US ski team and Yoon wasn't on the Swedish ski team. We both skied GS.
Right.
So we ended up spending a bunch of time together and training together, and it was really fun. I mean, part of that experience is, when you're not on the national team, in some ways it's better because you get to train with a bunch of different people. You get to manage all of your travel. So it opened opportunities to do fun things.
Sure. I assume this is part of that is the answer to this question, but how did you get involved with Gumball 3000?
Yeah, same thing. Of course, like I didn't have some sweet sponsor to bring me to Gumball. So Yoon started working with this Swedish company, Bet Safe. and like online gambling company. And they were a big sponsor of Gumball and got a number of cars in it. And then he's like, dude, you want to come join? And I'm like, definitely.
What was that? I mean, I imagine this is an almost impossible question to answer, but what was that experience like? I mean, it's an insane event.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. And I think every year is different. It brings different people to it. But you know, there was just some insanely fun times because you bring together a number of people that maybe they're not just like rule breakers, but they're people that you don't often run into, let's just say.
Yeah.
So it's a cool community of people that are just there really to have a good time and love cars and enjoy spending 10 to 15 hours in a car a day. People think it's just like a bunch of parties and stuff, but it is like serious driving
Right.
for a week. I mean, sometimes you're like too tired to even go out.
Right. Was there like a most memorable moment from that, or a favorite leg of the trip or anything?
The favorite part of the trip for me, so I was kind of part of 3 of them. You and I made a bet that I could hitchhike from New Hampshire all the way to Miami. And if I made it, then I'd join Gumball that year. And we had a couple stipulations. I could only have $100.
Okay.
And I had 8 days to get there. So that was an epic adventure. And then once we got there, it was a super fun event. That was Miami to Ibiza. So all the cars ended up going into a massive container jet. And then flew over to Edinburgh. And then we went it was Miami, Atlanta, New York, Edinburgh, flying. Then we landed, like nobody slept, landed there and then drove to London, Paris, Barcelona, Ibiza.
I think I vaguely remember watching those videos. But yeah, that hitchhiking sounds, I assume you made it because you
yeah, exactly. I made it. I did make it. That was a journey.
That's good.
That was
I imagine
epic.
that was a challenging hitchhike. That's a long way to go.
Yeah, it was. It was very challenging. And, you know, not everyone wants to pick up hitchhikers.
No.
So I ended up getting quite lucky with finding a number. I like reached out to anyone I could, you know, halfway through this journey, and then found somebody that was actually driving to Miami. So I ended up meeting them in DC, and they were driving like a bunch of stuff, a bunch of clothing. Sorry, that messed up. They were like moving to Miami, so I like ended up getting like a big chunk of the legs from them. Otherwise, I don't really know how it would have worked. It was definitely, it's fun to just dive into those things, right? You have no idea what's going to happen, and you're just like, game on, let's go. We'll see where this ends up.
Right. Total adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're pretty established now, but when did you decide to start a vlog and a YouTube channel?
So I first started that, like the YouTube channel, like 2009 or 8 or something. You can go way, or 7 maybe. I don't know. It's really old. And then I made a couple videos. And then when Yoon and I and a few others went to Japan to go powder skiing just before the Pyeongchang Olympics, just for fun. We went there, and then as a joke, I just started vlogging for a week to see what it was like. And it was a perfect environment to do it. You know, Benny, his filmer, was there, and Oscar, photographer, and Yoon. So the 4 of us were just having an epic time. And I was like, kind of curious what it was like, but then also like ripping on all of us in this journey. So that was really fun. And a lot of work. Like, it was mind blowing how much went into vlogging.
Well, and you seem pretty committed to it now. You must put a significant amount of your time into it.
So I kind of stepped back from it a bit, maybe a year ago-ish, a year and a half ago, maybe.
Okay.
I went like straight through for almost a year, like I did like 160 vlogs or something.
Yeah.
But when you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's boring for me. So how could it not be boring for the viewer, right?
Yeah, totally. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I stopped doing it and then started focusing on stories that had like meaning for me, or that I thought was like more of a powerful story. So like I just posted one about buying a sailboat. So my girlfriend and I, Lynn, her fiance, and we were supposed to get married this summer. Because of COVID, we couldn't. So we ended up buying a boat. And that was kind of like this, it was a big thing for us, and it was fun to do, and it was this fun process. So that was fun to make a video about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think like the stories are more fun.
I personally I watched the whole buying a boat video, and I loved it, and I totally agree. I think it's a more entertaining viewing experience when there's kind of a story like that, and I think you do a fantastic job with that kind of storytelling. Like the whole vibe in that video was awesome. Like when you were sitting on the boat and you were kind of complaining about the process of buying a boat, and then you stopped yourself with the narration version of yourself and were like, all right, what's this guy talking about? Like he's complaining about shopping for yachts.
Exactly.
I think it's extremely well done, and I think you're right that when you have a story like that, it's a lot more interesting, which is one of the reasons why we thought you'd be a fantastic person to talk to. You got a lot of stories. So,
but by the way, like you guys are doing a phenomenal job with your channel. I'm very impressed with that. So great job, and keep it up.
Thank you. I wish we had boats to shop for and stuff on our channel, but maybe someday.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, just in general, kind of how is your life different now, or how life as, not like a full-time vlogger, but you're much more on like the content side of things now than like the competition side of things. So just how kind of does I'm sure your life feels different now.
Yeah, of course. I think when you're racing, it's really easy because it's so structured. You're in New Zealand in the summer, and then maybe you go to Chile, and then you prep, and Solden right before the first World Cup, and then you're in Colorado, and then you're in Europe most of the season, and then you do some nationals and a few other things, and then you have kind of a big break in the summer, or early summer, and you can work on fitness and other things. So it's such a natural cycle once you get into it, that when you're out of it, it's weird. Like when you first stop skiing, it's like it's like just strange. Like the seasons are coming and I don't know, like before it was almost like you were in school, right? Like school starts in September. Racing starts in October. It's like you're constantly prepping for that. So now it's completely different. And it takes a bit to get used to it, but it's also, nice to be on this side and really fun to help develop skis. This has been amazing the last, 2 and change years now.
Yeah. So how did you first get involved with K2?
So
I got the hat on, I got the skis here, I got the shirt on. I'm all prepared.
Nice. I saw those. I was impressed actually. Like, well played. But so I got involved with Jed Yiser.
Yeah, Jed's awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome. So I raced against him when he was at Middlebury.
Okay.
And when they were talking about doing a piste ski, he gave me a jingle and we started chatting about it and some ideas. And he's like, "Do you want to be involved in this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Sweet, awesome.
That's kind of where it started.
Now,
honestly, when you're done skiing, you're like,
skiing isn't that exciting anymore because every day you're getting a little bit worse.
Sure.
Because you reach like your peak and now, you're not skiing as much. You don't have that focus. So every day you're getting like a little bit worse. And everything you do, like everything I want to do in life, you always want to get better at things. And so that's way more fun. So when you take like skiing and then you're like, okay, now we want to make better equipment. We want to make better skis. We want to make better gear. And then it's really fun because you have a new goal, you have a new focus. So then you go out skiing every day and you're psyched. When before it's like, it's nice to ski and super fun, but you feel like you don't feel the same progress.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes
Now,
sense.
what was your involvement in like the development and testing? Like, were you going to the factories and talking with Jed a lot? I know Jed is extremely involved in the engineering of those skis. Where was your role in that process?
So my role was on snow.
Okay.
So we'd go to a bunch of different places and test skis and see if what we changed actually worked and didn't work. So we'd have a bunch of different options and then go out there and test them in different conditions and see if we were happy with the changes.
Yeah.
And then test against other skis. So it was really fun. It was so nice to have a new goal on snow.
I'm a big fan of this ski right here. What would you say your favorite thing, give a little product pitch here. This will be the raw advertising section of this. What's your favorite thing about the Disruption skis?
So there's a whole lineup, right?
Sure.
You've got a number of different widths. So I think what you're looking at there is the MTI.
This is the MTI, yeah. But take whatever ski you want. You can talk about whichever one.
Yeah.
You
So
want.
my favorite's the 180 MTI.
Okay. Yep.
I just love that ski to ski on pretty hard snow. I mean, like, it's not a race ski, but you can ski on anything. You can really play with the turn shape a lot. You can bend it right up under the top of the turn and create a pretty tight arc.
Yep.
It's 18-meter radius, but you can really play, and it's super stable. So for me, like, that's the ski I'm on, I don't know, 80% of the time.
Cool.
Unless there's, it's more of a powder day or something else. But I just love arcing skis. Like, that's what I like about skiing more than anything.
Yeah.
So I dig that one. And then if there's a little bit more snow, then the other one you have, the 82 Ti right there is a great option. The 78's a great option. The 78 has a little bit more rocker to it. So when we've skied, I've done a number of ski tests with other skiers that aren't quite as good, and they really like the 78 Ti because you can be very neutral in your stance and roll the ski up like really nicely under your foot. When on the MTI 180, you really have to be over it. You got to be over your skis to power that ski up. So yeah, it was really fun to help develop these, and we're psyched with what we made.
Well, they're really good. I use the MTI as like my my ski bum race ski here in Stowe.
Oh, sick!
And it's like it's like perfect that, like you said, that 18-meter radius and its ability to you can bend it into, like, that's what I need in a race course is, like, if I mess up, I need the kind of ability to make a quick short turn and get back on my line. So they're like perfect for me, and I think they're fantastic skis. So kudos in your help in that design process. And it's cool that you mentioned Jed. I got to go out, this was last summer, I got to go out to Seattle and ski Mount Hood. And actually, I don't think we were still testing prototypes, but I got to ski some pre-production versions of the Disruptions. So that's pretty cool. And I can kind of picture what it would have been like for you in that testing process. Pretty fun group over there at K2.
Oh, epic crew. Such good people. So yeah, we had a ton of fun. And it's so cool, right? I mean, it's nice to get up there and going to Mount Hood. I bet that was a really fun experience.
Yeah, super cool going from their development center and like seeing all the testing and everything that they can do there, and then like literally like build a ski, throw it in the van, and then go test it like 4 hours later was like a pretty darn cool thing to see firsthand, and kind of solidified my opinion of K2 as a brand, just that they're doing some cool stuff. And you know, they've got that US based story, which I think is really cool in the ski world. Now tell me a little bit about the Disruption Cup, because that looked like an absolute blast.
That was an absolute blast. Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Well, let's see. First of all, did you win every stop?
So there I did not win. I got second in the only stops. There's only been in Garmisch. There was going to be a bunch more, but when COVID hit, that just changed everything.
Yeah.
So there's only one stop. It was in Garmisch when we launched the ski, and it was an absolute hoot. It was, I don't know if you saw some of the videos. Maybe you could like throw a couple clips in right now to show what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it looked awesome with like banked turns and everything. It looked like a ton of people weren't on race skis, but some people were on race skis. Big diversity in skiing backgrounds, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had, sorry, go on.
Do you feel like skiing needs more events like that?
Does it need more, or could it use more? It could definitely use more. Does it need more? I mean, sure. But it's a fun, right? I mean, that's what skiing is about. It's about going out there, pushing your limits a bit, and having a great time.
Right.
So, at least in my opinion, and that's exactly what this event is. You know, it's this really fun head-to-head stuff that's amazing. I mean, the hammer drop that we started out of, like.
Right.
That thing was so cool. And then right in the first bank turn, another one, a couple whoop-de-doos. It was a really fun course. And then I love like the big ton at the bottom. So there was like this, and that's where I made up some time. You went over this last jump, and then there was a big right footer that you had to set early and then snap off a tight little arc. And then you could beat somebody out and hit the buzzer and win. There's actually a video game app now that K2 just came out with here in Germany that you can do the Disruption Cup and win skis. So a little plug for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, to me it just looked like such a great event, you know, and I love things like that in the ski world, with that kind of attitude. And like a little bit of a competitive environment, because I think a lot of skiers are competitive at nature, but then yeah, throwing the fun factor into it, it just looked like a blast. And I think it kind of goes along with the kind of attitude of the skis.
And head to head is phenomenal. Like, it's so much more fun to race somebody. So I think that it was a hoot, and then the party at the end was like K2 style, insane.
So Warner, what does the future look like for you? Is there any do you have any big plans in the immediate future or long-term future?
Yes. So I think when COVID hit, everything kind of changed. You know, like I haven't been back to the US since it hit, which has been tough. But yeah, the future is kind of still going slow, I guess, right now, at least for me.
Yeah.
So nothing like epic to talk about, but I'm just fired up to go skiing and try to figure out a way, like planning to maybe run a place up in Ore,
Awesome.
for a large part of the season, and just kind of be more local and try to ski as much as you can. I'm also on the board of US Ski and Snowboard as the athlete rep for Alpine. So I'm going to try to get to some World Cup races. We'll see, you know, how much they want outsiders in. It could be a little strange this year, but try to get to some World Cups as well, and then do a few events for K2, a few like testing clinics and stuff. So that's kind of what my little window looks like. But everything's, kind of in question. So that's why I think the ski locally and try to get as many runs in as you can.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be the theme for this season for most people is enjoy the skiing that you can get most easily, so to speak. But I'm excited to see what you do in the future. Do you have plans of staying with K2, I hope?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't want to be with any other company.
Cool. Awesome. Well, next time you're in New England, let's try and do some skiing. I don't know if that'll be this season.
No, yeah, right. It might not be, but you're in Stowe, right? I mean, like,
Yep.
I love Stowe.
Yeah, come up to Stowe. We would love to have you.
Yeah.
Once we're past COVID, hopefully we could do some sort of mini little event, do some skiing, have a lot of fun.
We need a disruption cup there.
We've already been talking about it with the guys over at K2. So as soon as it's something that we're able to do, I think we're going to try and do it. Yeah. Let's see, anything, you're a busy guy, lots going on. Anything you want to kind of plug or let our audience know about before I let you go?
No, just it was nice to chat. I appreciate it, and always fun. Yeah, just try to get as much skiing as you can. All you guys.
Yeah, everybody. Hopefully, I think everybody needs a lot of skiing right now, so to speak, and hopefully.
God, I'm so hopeful that people will be able to do a lot of skiing. Maybe there'll be more touring, but just I hope that this season will be like what people get in other sports of buying bikes and getting outside more. I just hope that that's the case for us. It's really tough for all the athletes. Yeah. You think about 15-year-olds and they're struggling to understand what their season's even going to look like.
Yeah.
But maybe it's really good for younger athletes, kids that are 10 to 12, they just stay more local and just train, and maybe more people will ski because it's a chance just to get outside.
I've thought about the kids a lot myself. I coach freestyle pretty part-time here in Stowe, and we have a number of athletes in that age range, like 12 to 15, and like specific example, a lot of them last year, just because where they fell in age ranges and stuff like that, they decided to skip certain events like nationals and kind of big things like that to push them off to this coming season. And now it's a big question mark for those guys whether things like that are even going to happen. And then I imagine as your role on the U.S. ski team, you've got a whole bunch of stuff to figure out right now, because we've been following that pretty closely here at Ski Essentials. All the World Cup decision-making process. You're going to be Europe only and all that stuff. So I would imagine there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to do with any of that, which is great. I mean, my role is not getting into the details on any of that stuff. But like they've got to be doing a lot of that. And I wish there was better leadership at FIS right now as we're going into this season with backup plans and a bunch of different ways to make sure it happens. But there's been some lack of leadership in a lot of places, which is tough.
Well, hopefully we have some ski racing to watch, and hopefully all goes as well as it can. Warner, I'm going to let you.
That's what we're talking about.
I'm going to let you get back to working on your boat or whatever boat owners do.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to let you get back to it, and have a great rest of the day, and thanks for catching up.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate you chatting. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to do it in person sometime and do some skiing.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Warner.